Torchwood has always been at its best when it dares to explore the darkest corners of the universe. Where Doctor Who often plays within the limits of its family-friendly tone, Torchwood took advantage of its post-watershed slot to dig into mature themes, complex trauma, and moral ambiguity. It showed that defending Earth didn't always involve wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey fun. Torchwood thrived on confronting uncomfortable questions, whether about death, sexuality, or the cost of saving the world. However, there were a few rare moments when the show tipped too far into sensationalism. A darker Doctor Who spin-off is compelling when grounded in its sci-fi roots, but some episodes pushed those boundaries so hard, they lost the tone completely. One episode in particular stands out as a shock to the system. It's bleak, violent, and nearly unrecognizable as a part of the Doctor Who universe. It remains one of the franchise's most disturbing hours, and even 18 years later, Torchwood Season 1's Countryside is hard to stomach. Countryside is Torchwood's most gruesome episode. What looks like a standard alien mystery turns into a chilling horror story with no sci-fi twist. Countryside begins like many Torchwood episodes, with a seemingly paranormal mystery and a deeply unsettling tone. When the team heads to the Welsh countryside to investigate a series of disappearances and mutilated bodies, the assumption is that something extraterrestrial is to blame. Jack Harkis, John Barrowman, Gwen Cooper, Eve Miles, Ianto Jones, Gareth David Lloyd, Owen Harper, Bern Gorman, and Toshiko Soto, Naoko Mori, expect to be dealing with another alien threat. However, the truth is far more disturbing. The killers aren't aliens, possessed, or infected. They're just human. The Torchwood team discovers that the remote village of Brinlade hides a horrifying secret. The entire community has been luring travelers into the woods, murdering them, and carving them up for meat. These aren't crimes of necessity, they're done for fun. In a particularly grotesque moment, one of the villagers even admits, chillingly, that they kill because it makes me happy. There's no sci-fi explanation, no alien parasite influencing behavior, just a collective human depravity that leaves the Torchwood team, and the viewer, shaken. It's an agonizingly bleak twist, and it strips away the escapism that Torchwood normally balances so well with its darker content. The violence is graphic, even by Torchwood standards. Toshiko is brutally strangled. Ianto discovers a kitchen full of dismembered body parts. The woods are littered with dismembered corpses. The cinematography leans into horror movie aesthetics, and the editing drags out the suspense in a way that's almost unbearable. It's not just gruesome, it's relentless. Even the usual team banter and Jack's signature irreverence are toned down or completely absent. The episode is grim, humorless, and surprisingly grounded for a show about alien hunters. Its stark realism makes the horror hit even harder, and it leaves a bitter aftertaste that never fully fades. What makes Countryside unforgettable is also what makes it nearly unwatchable. The darkness doesn't stem from Torchwood's usual cosmic threats, it comes from ordinary humans, which somehow makes it even worse. 18 years later, I still have to skip Countryside on a rewatch. The episode leans too far into shock value and abandons what makes Torchwood special. Evan the Cannibal in the Torchwood episode Countryside. I've rewatched Torchwood more times than I can count. Its blend of sci-fi weirdness, emotional weight, and character-driven storytelling makes it one of the most addictive spin-offs of all time. However, whenever I hit Season 1, I always skip Countryside. I don't avoid it because I can't handle horror, I love horror. However, the horror in A Countryside feels completely detached from the essence of Torchwood. There's no clever alien twist, no larger theme about the universe or humanity, and nothing to tie it to the show's broader world. It feels like a generic slasher episode dropped into a sci-fi show by mistake. Torchwood is at its strongest when it uses science fiction to explore trauma, identity, and loss. Countryside drops the sci-fi entirely. Instead, it doubles down on brutality for its own sake, graphic violence, torture, and human evil that has nothing to do with the show's overarching purpose. The episode's only real goal seems to be to shock, and once that shock wears off, there's nothing left. The sheer bleakness of it also doesn't help. There's no catharsis, no meaningful resolution. The villains aren't punished in any satisfying way, just arrested. The team doesn't grow from the experience. Gwen's relationship with Owen takes a darker turn, but it's more uncomfortable than illuminating. The whole story leaves you feeling hollow. More than anything, Countryside feels like a betrayal of what makes Torchwood special. It steps so far away from its parent franchise, Doctor Who, that it might as well be a completely different show, and not a better one. Even now, nearly 2 decades later, Countryside hasn't aged well. The gritty realism doesn't enhance the story, it drags it down. Watching beloved characters navigate that kind of senseless cruelty just doesn't work in a universe where time travel and alien tech are the norm. Countryside aimed for edgy and disturbing, but the end result is just gratuitous. I'll keep returning to Torchwood for its emotion, its mystery, and its flawed but compelling characters. Countryside, though? That one stays skipped.